Hello everyone, and welcome back to Useful How-To Videos. My name is Mike Sands, your guide to solving tech-related issues. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more useful content. Today we're diving into the world of Logic Pro X, which is a fantastic DAW that allows you to create and produce music. So in this video we look to solve an issue. That issue is if you've ever seen a system overload message that shows up, how do you solve it? Actually, if you look in the prompt or the message that shows up when there is an error, it says system overload. The audio engine was unable to process all required data in time, and it actually gives you what steps to try. It tells you to try increasing the I/O buffer size, etc., etc. And in some instances that actually has worked. When you do that. But what happens if that actually doesn't work? So just to share a little information, what that message actually means is that typically the computer's CPU, the processing unit or the disk, cannot keep up with the demands of the project that you're working on per se. So this can happen for several reasons. Those reasons being high CPU load, where you have too many software instruments actually on Logic Pro, too many effects or too many plugins all running at the same time. The second reason is that it could be disk speed. The disk speed, the hard drive may be too slow, or especially if you're using a lot of audio tracks or high resolution samples. The buffer size, as we see in the message here, it wants you to increase the buffer size. The buffer size might be set too low, causing the CPU to struggle with processing real-time audio. And the fourth reason I see is that with background processes, where you have other applications running in the background that can also contribute to system overloads. And so typically, or primarily, getting rid of or solving this issue is simply increasing the input-output or the I/O buffer size. But like I say, what happens if that doesn't work? So the example on the screen actually is a great example for that. This is a project that I've been working on Logic, and you see here that when I go to Logic Preference Audio, you'll actually see here where the I/O buffer size is actually the maximum. Right? So what do you do if you can't go anymore? So the other solution that I've found to work is where you actually bounce tracks or you bounce the tracks on your project to audio. What this does is that it actually helps reduce the number of active plugins and instruments in your track. Okay, so we'll go over that today, but essentially what we'll be doing is bouncing all of our tracks to audio. We'll be creating a new Logic file, and then we'll be dumping all of those audio tracks, or essentially importing all of those audio tracks back into a new Logic profile, and then pretty much saving it as another file. And then I just label it as whatever the file name is, and then in brackets with audio files. That's the best way of me deciphering or separating between the two project types. Okay, so we'll do that real quick. So what we're going to do is we're going to buffer or we're going to bounce the tracks to audio file. So if we go to File and we go to Export and we go to All Tracks as audio files, what I'm going to do is save those audio files on my desktop. Okay, you can save it anywhere you want to, but I'm going to save it on the desktop. Okay, so there are parts of this where it's going to seem long, the process is going to be long, so I'm going to actually fast forward or just jump to the next section. Okay, so I'm going to save on my desktop. I'm gonna create a folder. Just create a folder, and I'm gonna call it project audio files. Okay, you can call it whatever you want to. I'm just gonna call it project audio files. And then you see here it has a certain pattern that you can choose what the file names follow. So it's going to follow the track name, whatever custom, and then the track number. Okay, so I'm going to hit export, and then what you should see begin to happen. Let's give it a minute. So if I double click the file on my desktop, you can see from now where the files are beginning to create. But you notice that that it's still processing because it's still working. It has the files have to normalize. Yeah, there you go, exporting all tracks. That's the window or prompt that I wanted you to see, where it's actually exporting all the tracks. And like I say, this is going to take some time, so I'm going to fast forward to the next point, okay, and show you where all the tracks have been exported as audio files. Okay, so at this point, all of the audio files should have been converted and saved to the folder that you designated to saving all the audio files. And just to show you, all of my audio files are pretty much complete. They're here now. It's saved on my desktop, but keep in mind you can save it anywhere. And you notice that the mouse is looking normal again. It's not looking it's still in progress. So it's actually finished. Before I move on to the next step, I actually want you to hear what it sounds like when we have that issue. Okay, so if I press play, there we go. So you should see a system overload. There it is, a system overload. So this is before transferring the audio files. I just wanted to show you proof that that even with the IO buffer being the highest, you'll see that we're still having that issue. Okay, so now let's go and go to the next step. So what we're going to do is we're going to let's just open a new we're going to open a new file. You're just going to open a new one, and what we're going to do is close it and don't save it, okay? Because we didn't do anything, but just make sure not to save it. So once we open a new one, we're just going to create, and what we're going to do is we're going to select all of the audio files, and it should be all of the audio files from our project. So I'm going to hit the Windows button and A to select all, or I can just simply drag my mouse around all. But to be sure I'm selecting all, I'm going to press the Window button and A, and then what I'm going to do is just drag it in this area here, and you'll see a message that actually pops up. I'm just going to move this. So it's loading the files, and now it's going to ask you, do you want to use existing tracks or create new tracks or place all files? So what we're going to do is create all new tracks for them. Okay. And the one thing that you're going to notice, okay, so it's asking you, do you want to import the audio files that contains the tempo information? I would hit import, and then there were some markers in here, markers that actually specifies that I use to specify different sections of the songs. If you want to speed up or change the tempo, there's different markers. Markers that you press a shortcut G, you'll actually see the marker pop in from the top. Okay, but I'm going to hit import, and you could and the next thing you should see is all of the audio files begin to populate down. So you'll see it says adding audio files now. And so what I was going to say while we're waiting on that, what I was going to say is what you'll notice here is that all of the mixing that you did on the original project, you'll find that all of the mixing is now gone. So all of the tracks, when the audio files are added, they'll all be at the same volume level. So there's a trade-off here, and the trade-off is that you wouldn't have the system overload issue, and it'll just be a matter of having to mix again. So having said that, now what it would mean is that the next time you create a project, don't mix in a project, but simply just work on creating the project, and then once the project is finished, you convert your files over just like we're doing now, and then you can proceed with the mixing and maybe adding any plugins, etc. Okay, so I'm gonna play it now, and if you recall, we saw the system overload issue maybe at bar 5. Okay, so I'm going to start it at bar 1 just to show you that the issue is now resolved. And keep in mind, like I said, it's not mixed, so as measure 4, measure 5, measure 6, and by now we saw the system overload error or issue. So what it actually means now is that we resolved the issue. Okay, so just to recap, we resolved the issue this way only because when we went to the logic, when we went to the preference and an audio in the original project, the IO buffer size was already to its maximum. And one way to improving or fixing the system overload issue was to make sure that you increase it. But since in my situation, and probably yours, if it's already high, then you need another solution, and that solution was exporting the audio files from the original track and actually creating a new logic file, and then importing or dragging those audio tracks into your project. Okay, and that's actually it. You'll see it works. Okay, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe for more how-to videos. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions, or if there's a specific topic you'd like me to cover in a future video. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.